Okay, I'm ready.
I'm just gonna hit the button.
I'm ready. Go ahead. Horn music.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Scoutcast. Welcome to Scoutcast, where sometimes I play my song.
Hey, man.
Huh?
Oh, okay. You only had 2 seconds. I was like, hey, man, don't get us shut down up in here. I don't know what happens on the Jeff Kavanaugh show. Jeff Kavanaugh show over there on Jeff Kavanaugh YouTube. Full-time YouTuber, correct?
Oh, that's not a copyright infringement.
Oh, it's not.
No,
Oh.
That's every instrument is played by the guy who made the song, and it doesn't match the algorithm. It's safe.
So you know,
I own that song.
You know a motherfucker. I need to know somebody. Hey, everybody on my side, go over there, say shouts out to Jeff, man. Jeff doing this thing full time. He needs our support. Go over there and say what's up to him. I'm Voch. That's Jeff. Hello.
Yeah, I quit my job, so come on over. Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Please. I got fired. That's different.
See, and I got one guy who says Jeff doesn't give people enough time to join. But then if I play my full 4-minute intro, guess what? People get mad that it's going to be 4 minutes until we're here. So you know what? You can't win. I'd like to apologize to everyone and no one at the same time.
The key is to hit the rewind button. You can always catch us back on the rewind button. That's the big key. But we're happy that you're here. We ain't talking shit because you're talking shit, but we just happy that you came in general. So you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Jeff.
Randy Gregory's gone. And so now we can talk about the Cowboys draft. I did a whole show this morning thinking Randy Gregory was a Cowboy on Cowboys.com. And we just ignored all edge guys like it was over. Didn't have to worry about that because we had Randy Gregory. And then, now he's not. Now he's gone. He's not here.
You know, Jeff, gone. I didn't want to cry real life tears, man, because this is a sport at the end of the day, and I do think fans kind of take this thing a little too serious. And I just want to say, before I say any of this ungrateful shit, I'm happy for Randy because Randy has come a long way just as a dude, just as a human. So shouts out to that dude getting his bag, shouts out to his family. But it just sucks when, you know, as a fan, I'm just speaking as a fan, right? It's just that we invest so much love into it, right? You know what I mean? So much love into this dude. I'm like, man, we finally got him back. We finally at the end of the road. And then, like, it just doesn't work. And then we get the report. Yeah, but we're looking at Von Miller, too. Look, Von Miller's fine, but I'm invested in. You know how many Twitter fights I've gotten into over Randy? If you go at Voch Lombardi, Randy Gregory, you'll see me cussing humans out about, hey, we need to get this dude another chance. We need to fight for Randy Gregory. I love Randy Gregory. And now he's gone, Brother Jeff. So I've cried real tears while I was watching draft film, bro. It's a sad.
Would you be okay if Von Miller showed up?
I mean, I'd be cool, man, but damn, I ain't got nothing invested in Von Miller. I give a fuck about that dude, man. I would feel better from a football standpoint. Like, okay, cool. I've seen Von Miller's work. He's a little older, so he's not a long-term option or whatever like I would consider Randy to be. But he's a cool little patchwork situation. I also think losing Randy, if like, I don't think this is gonna be true, but like if Karlaftis is there, like you can't ignore like, you know, D-end in the draft now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like guys like Chandler Jones and Von would help me patch this up, but it's the emotion for me losing out on Randy Gregory, and that sucks the worst.
He was ours.
He was our guy. He was our guy. I was there when we drafted him out of damn Nebraska, and he was skinny. He was skinny, and his neck was long, and then he got swollen, and we was there for every step of the way. Then weed was cool. All of a sudden, weed wasn't illegal no more. And I was like, this is a fucking match made. There are no more obstacles. There are no more impediments between Randy Gregory and the Dallas Cowboys. And then you get Stephen Jones.
And then Jerry had the deal done, and Stephen screwed it up. Oh, well. Thank you, William, in the super chat. Scoutcast is back. Best show on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you to Dylan Johnson, just in here throwing dollar bills around. Appreciate you.
Part of
So I asked for questions from the people, and I got a bunch of them on Twitter for us.
Let's run it.
But I wanted to start off. I think anytime that somebody has a pet cat, you gotta let your pet cat fly, because the Cowboys only have 2 starting receivers at the moment, and Voch has his pet cat. If you've watched my channel, you know Sky Moore is my guy. But Voch, you found you a guy.
And I love goddamn Sky Moore. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that can run routes, catch the ball, and go, they're fine with me. But Calvin Austin III, right? I mean, I just kind of first saw him watching combine stuff, and I was like, oh, he's the first one up. Let's watch him run. And he ran pretty fast, right? So I don't let the combine like dictate for me, just in case there's anybody new to Voch. I watch film, bro. I'm so dead ass on film. So like the Barre dude, that, you know, the D tackle that ran the damn 4.3. I don't like him because he ran a 4.3. I watched his film. I don't think he's very good, so I moved on from him. But I watched Calvin Austin, and I enjoy his film. But I enjoy his film and make him pick cat in context to what I think he can do for my team in particular. Calvin may not fit with everybody else, but if Calvin's on my team as like a down the line somewhere, fourth option, gadgety dude that I can maybe get on day 3 if it slips that far. I don't think so, but maybe 4th round guy possibly. Do kick return, punt return things. Just get the ball to that dude quickly and let him be faster than and quicker than everybody kind of guy. I think that's fun. It's one thing to be faster than everybody guy, but I like those laterally quick dudes. That's what I think separate guys like Jalen Waddle from like Henry Ruggs, just to give you an example. Calvin is one of them quick sideways guys, and he's fast long. So he played inside and outside at Memphis. I don't think he's going to do much of that in the league. I think he's going to be gadget guy. If he's outside, he going to be jet sweeping his ass, you know what I'm saying? So whatever. Plus, I'm just superstitious about shit like this. Memphis got one dude every year that's just good. Just one dude every year. Memphis just keep rolling one dude out at a time. And Calvin could possibly be that Memphis guy this year. I don't want to miss out on him.
Pollard, Antonio Gibson, and I bet I'm missing some.
We're missing somebody.
He's fun. Calvin Austin's about this big.
Darrell Henderson and shit like that. Yeah, he's a little bitty dude. But if
about
you're
5'7", 170, but the dude flies.
He's Dean size. But if you're not counting on him to be your main squeeze, I think that dude would be a fun day 3 kind of guy, just to run out there and just be a weapon.
Yeah, I love the receiver group this year.
There's plenty of them.
Like I don't think there's any Jamar Chase where it's like, oh yeah, that dude's a number 1. He's going to step in. But there are just so many dudes that are going to be number 2 and number 3 wide receivers for a really long time.
For sure.
That I'm ready for. Do you have a preference on type for the Cowboys? Like, do you want route runner? Do you want gadget? Do you want big? Do you have a preference?
I'm always partial to route runners because if you can get separation, then you've already won the battle. You know what I mean? So you can be one of these, you know, Drake London characters that can get a little bit of separation, then get that long body separation. But like if you can get that like Garrett Wilson just that all routes, you know what I'm saying?
Wide receiver 1.
Mine too. Dotson, I feel like he would be. I would like him more if his complete game was a little bit better, but I do like him as a route runner. You know what I mean? So, like, if he was a dude that you're looking at later down the line to come in and be a compliment to Lamb and Gallup, you can never use too many route runners on your team or whatever. Just take his ass off the line of scrimmage and don't let him try to block nobody. You'll be good with him. But besides that, I prefer route run. I don't really like fast receivers like that. Somebody on the social media Twitter joint, they was all like, but Voch, I've never heard of you liking fast receivers before. Fast receivers normally ain't that good. Like the fastest guys aren't the best guys in the world. They normally show up and just kind of disappear. So when I do like fast guys, it is pretty rare, but I like the route runner, get my own separation guys.
I just think fast is a bonus.
Sure.
Like if your tape is you can get open, you know how to run routes, you know how to get separation and all that, and then like Garrett Wilson, and then you show up and you run in the 4.3s. I go, oh sweet. Like I didn't care what he ran. I thought he was gonna run a 4.48, but he's running the 4.3s. Great, add that in. But yeah, you're not going to win with pure speed in the NFL very often.
What do you think about Treylon Burks from a Cowboy context? Do you think he's a fit here?
So I'll start with this. What I've heard is that the Cowboys are looking for technicians and route runners.
Perfecto.
And I don't think he necessarily fits that, but it's not like it's his fault. He played at a school with a quarterback who couldn't throw it all that well. And so they threw him the ball right at the line of scrimmage or down the field. And it's like, how are we going to get you the ball? So, no, you don't see on tape him running a bunch of routes. But I think any team, if you take a guy that's 6'2", 225, hell on wheels after the catch, can go get the ball, does that help any quarterback? Hell yeah.
Sure.
Let Dak your ball, go. I think that helps. But It's so hard to guess what they're going to do because it's so hard to guess what order these receivers go in.
For sure.
Like you mentioned Drake London. I don't know if he's going to be the first receiver off the board or the fifth.
Sure.
Don't know.
Right. There's a lot of guys this year. And, that's kind of what I like. Like, we're not going to be forced to take a dude at 24. Now, if it's an egregious situation, like if it's just, hey, this is some undeniable CD at 17 type of situation, then fine, take wide receiver. But I think with there being so many wide receivers and you have a number one and a number two in theory or whatever, I don't think that you're going to be pressed to actually take a guy. Like if you end up with like one of these, round 3 guys, I think you'll be good. Like a Pickens, like a Ross or something like that. Just take one of them dudes later. You'll be fine with those guys.
That's where I got your guy, Calvin Austin.
In the third round?
Third round?
In the third round.
Yeah, just slot guy?
For sure. So we gotta hope that he falls to the fourth, you know what I'm saying? Because I think when we get to the third round, and I say this about a lot of players, Jeff, a player can be a second round talent, but just how like draft works, somebody's gonna fall at some point, and this could just be superstition. I always think there's gonna be a better player there. You know what I mean? So we could sit up here and be like, oh, Chad Muma, a second round linebacker. I think there'll be better guys than him. I think if we look at like D tackles, or we look at the wide receivers that'll be there, the corners that'll be there, the offense, the guards that'll be there. You know what I mean? Would you pick like a guy like Travis Jones or Chad Muma? You know what I mean? Tyler Smith or Chad Muma, John Mechie or Chad Muma. I just think so many guys are gonna fall down that guys are just gonna keep slipping.
Yeah, you're making me pull up my board.
My fault.
By the way, thank you. Let me catch up on Super Chatters. Western Washington Adventures. Don't think this will happen, but who would you prefer between Chandler Jones, Von Miller, Tyrann Mathieu, Bobby Wagner, Zadarius Smith? I mean, in theory, my answer is you ain't getting none of them because you know their names.
Yep. Yes.
But we do know for a fact that the Cowboys had 5 years and $70 million available for a pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
So if Zadarius Smith's back's okay, call him. If Von Miller wants to be here, which he does, call him.
I want Chandler.
I'll take Chandler Jones. Yes. My answer is yes, and yes.
Sure.
Absolutely, positively. Alex said, why are we not discussing Chandler Jones? Talented, always a second thought.
Cowboys.
Yeah, like Chandler Jones was one of the, for what, probably a 3 or 4 year run, was like one of the best pass rushers in the league, and I feel like he was never mentioned as one of the best pass rushers in the league.
Yeah, because he's not a flashy, sexy name, but like when you keep looking at the numbers, like he up there. He's always the guy that's up there. And then when you watch him, he kind of plays like that. Like he's not a flashy rusher. He's just a seasoned, polished dude that just knows how to win. I don't need a name. I don't gotta have Khalil Mack. You know what I mean? Just give me the dude that's gonna give me production, and that's Chandler Jones.
Martin wanted to know, is Von Miller really more than just a popular name at this point in his career? Yes, I think Von Miller's still got, it might only be a year or two left, but Von Miller is still going. He is still going well.
He's not like chasing Cam Newton in the Super Bowl, Von Miller, but he's better than, Chauncey Golston right now, for sure.
Eddie Joe, what are your thoughts on Bo Melton? I liked him when I watched him play, and then he had a great combine, but no one talks about him. Well, I got news for you. I can't help you because I'm looking him up right now because I have not watched Bo Melton.
Too soon for me. I don't know.
We got us a Rutgers wide receiver here. I'll let you know. I don't know yet, but I'll let you know. How about that?
That's all your supers?
That's all my supers.
I got Isaiah Menchaca dropped a deuce over here and says Khalil Shakur, pet cat. Solid player.
Not bad.
We them boys dropped 5, and he hates the Cowboys. He says, rest in peace to drafting your guard at 24 Dreams. We're drafting an edge or a wide receiver. I disagree. But
I think if you said everything is equal and like the top players on the board, like it's all the positions are available and they're all the same grade, they're picking a guard.
It's probably guard.
Better believe it.
For sure.
They don't have a left guard.
For sure. See, first of all, we them boys, like he's like the super anti-everything guy. He's super pessimistic guy. So he's always looking to jab Voch. But Voch, your little dreams of guard at 24, RIP. Shut up. Appreciate you for dropping 5 though. I love you to peace, but we fight each other. That's just what we do. Salute.
Yeah. Sounds like love.
Who else? Sometimes. Brandon J dropped 5 and says, since we can't sign deals until tomorrow, can Jerry salvage the Randy Gregory situation? Steven,
it's allowed.
It's allowed. Steven should deal with the draft only. Jerry needs to contact. Pat Walker. Follow him on all his social medias or whatever. But he was like, he talked to the Randy camp and they pissed off, like they upset and it's not looking great. So in theory, you can, you know what I mean. In theory, Jerry can call Randy, you know, like, hey man, come on, man, it can't happen. But they seem pissed off. So hey,
Clarence Hill is reporting that basically the thing they tried to tuck in at the end of his contract, if they'd already agreed to it, was something that they say they tuck into all of them. It was the Lyle Collins thing, where like Lyle Collins lost his guaranteed money because he got suspended, and like if that's it, and it's like that's the company line, it's what we do. Well, MFer, you would still negotiate that before you agreed to the deal. You wouldn't try to tack it on at the end.
Sure.
And if another team is not doing that, then the way your company's doing business is going to get your ass whipped by another company in the way they do business, because they ain't doing that.
For sure. So yeah, cross your fingers, but you know. And Jamal Mitchell Drive 5 says, what do you think about Zamir White? Too soon for me. I played him in high school. We played in the SEC together, and he's also my wife's cousin.
Oh, yeah, I don't know either. Zamir White, it sounds like a running back, though, if I remember right.
Too soon for me.
See.
I'll let Jeff
Oh, yeah, he's one of the Georgia guys. I like Dalvin Cook's little brother, though. But, yeah, we'll get there. Zach, what comp picks are we getting for Wilson, Collins, and Randy? Collins won't get you a comp pick because you're going to have to cut him.
Yeah.
Wilson is going to get you a 5 or a 6, and Randy will get you a 3 or a 4. I had to go find the math chart on it. I have the chart. You better effing believe it.
Donovan Wilson?
No. Cedric.
Oh yeah. Cedric probably gets you a 6. Connor probably gets you a 6. Leo's get you nothing. Cooper gets you nothing.
And Randy will get you your good one.
Randy, if he makes 5 years 70, he'll probably get you a 4, possibly.
We'll take it.
Because he's not.
Pete just wanted to say, Jeff, you were right about Andre Cisco. Apologies for being a D-bag about him.
You know what?
Cisco not have a great rookie year.
You know what, sir? We need a lot more people like you, because this the bad thing, right? Jeff and Voch, like we're visible, and I say that humbly. I ain't trying to sound like a dick or nothing. Like we're visible. So if I say some dumb shit about a player, it's easy to find us. But if you that one dude that's standing on that soapbox, Voch Paris Ford is going to be a beast in the league. And if he's not, I don't know where to find you to tell you wrong. You just kind of disappear, and you know what I mean? And that's just it. So I appreciate you, sir, for coming to Jeff like, hey, yo, Jeff, my bad, man. Cisco ain't shit. So salute, bro.
Thanks, Pete. Okay, so now Cowboys-wise, you are looking at, if you had to pick it, 1, 2, 3, first round, second round, third round, Voch, what are the 3 positions, if it lines up the way they want it to? Because like the CeeDee Lamb thing or Micah Parsons, you could have the top player on the board and all of a sudden your plan goes out the window because you're like, hey, we're picking the best player.
For sure.
But if they had it the way they want it, first 3 rounds are...
We haven't talked in a while, so we've been doing this a lot over on my channel. And I think this is the first year in a long time, or in my short drafting life or whatever, to where I'm looking at picks where we're at, like the teens and 20s and shit. I like those picks better than the top 7 or 8. You know what I mean? Like if you had a top 10 pick last year, you can't miss. Top 13 or so pick last year. But all my favorite players are where we're at. You're either forced to take some dudes you may not like, or I can get Linderbaum where I'm at. I can get Jordan Davis where I'm at. I can get, either the linebackers I like, wide receivers. So the board really opens up for us. I legitimately think you can take the best player and then you can go draft from there. So if like Jordan Davis on the board, D tackle, especially one tech, wasn't really on my list. But if he's there and you kind of wiped out everywhere else, then you take that dude, then you go guard, then you go like receiver maybe, then you go like linebacker or something. You know what I mean? It just depends on what's deepest. Wide receiver deep as fuck, so I feel like I can get that a little bit later. Guard, I feel like guard is relatively, for what we used to, deep as fuck. So I could probably take that in second or third somewhere. If Dean is there, hey, we take a linebacker, guard, wide receiver. If it's Kenyon Green, cool. Linebacker, receiver, and just work down from there. So it's a combination of those 4 positions, but it depends on who's the best player at the first round. I'm
looking at it, and because I guess in my brain they would love for it to be a combination of their third starting wide receiver, their starting left guard, and a linebacker.
DT.
Maybe an edge because Randy's gone.
Yeah.
Maybe a D tackle. So I'm trying to come up with like a game of would you rather.
Yeah. Something else too though, like we have to figure out what's important to us that's not like considered first round or whatever, right? So I say Jordan Davis, but that don't mean I'm looking for one text early. You know what I mean? It's just that if he's there, I'm taking him. But if not, then guard, linebacker, wide receiver. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If Dean is there, then all of a sudden linebacker is more of a priority. But if not, okay, cool. I'll take a linebacker in the fourth or something like that, in the third or fourth round, something. You know what I mean?
And it sounds more and more likely that Nakobe Dean will be there.
Why is that?
Obviously, all these things mean shit come actual draft night.
For sure.
Somebody might take him 9th overall. We don't know. Yeah. But just watching the national draft dudes and all the mock drafts, like further and further we go. He's pretty much there every time now, and I wonder if that's people hearing from guys in the league where it's like, oh, he's kind of small. I don't know. I don't know what your knock is on Nakobe Dean because the dude's a stud. And if I can have him at 24, I'll take my 5'11" linebacker all day long. So that dude is a monster.
So Jeff, let me just ask you, why do you think? Why is it that all of the players that we think are the best players are the ones falling? You know what I mean? Like, for example, in no world, I watch film, Jeff. We watch film here, Jeff.
That needs to be a t-shirt.
Jeff, I have a shirt called I Watch Film. We watch film, Jeff. Jermaine Johnson ain't fucking better than no Nakobe Dean, man. I don't care about your position. I don't care, Jeff. You can look all the way wherever you want to. I don't care about position value. That makes it look like defensive end.
I do care about that, for the record. I do care.
To an extent, Jeff.
An extent.
But the best guys, look at this film and look at this film. I watch your show, Jeff. I'm a fan of yours. We peers, but I'm a fan of yours. I've heard you say, yo, look, Jermaine Johnson disappears on film sometimes. Sometimes he's good. Sometimes I don't see him. Nakobe don't disappear, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, you got the wrong guy to defend Jermaine Johnson, but I do like –
I saw a
like the NFL is pass rush is so effing king in the NFL that when you find dudes that have traits, and maybe this is just like knowing how it's going to go rubbing off on me a little bit.
Sure.
Where it's like, oh yeah, a guy that has a power rush, has a couple of moves, can play the run. Oh yeah, he's going the first round.
Disappears.
But like if you went through my notes on Jermaine Johnson and then you read my notes on Nakobe Dean, you'd be like, Jeff, you like Nakobe Dean a lot better. You damn straight I do.
Jordan,
but yeah, I think that's usually the reason. I think in the first round, it's weird because these thoughts that I'm having totally conflict. Because like teams want to kind of eliminate risk. And if you look at Nakobe Dean and you said, well, he's small. I don't know what else you would say other than small. And then you say, and he plays linebacker, which isn't as valuable. And then you go over to Jermaine Johnson and you go, and this guy, he's an edge. And he can, like, I can give you more negatives on him. And so I don't know how that eliminates risk. It really doesn't. You have a pretty good chance to swing and miss on a guy where you're going, but he plays the right position.
Question. Where do you have Karlaftis ranked? George Karlaftis, Purdue.
My edge guys are Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeau, Trayvon Walker, then George Karlaftis, then David Ojabo, then Jermaine Johnson.
So why, Jeff? I saw a mock from PFF, a guy I trust, Trevor Sycamore. I trust Trev.
Trevor's good people.
I trust Trev. I trust him.
Trust him. Not a lot of people you can trust over there, but you can trust Trevor and you can trust Mike.
Jermaine mocked at 5. 5? 5th? Linderbaum.
I don't know why we're pretending that Kayvon Thibodeau isn't awesome. I'm just going to put that out there.
He's fine. I just think there are guys better than him. I like Karlaftis better than him. I like Ojabo better than him. I don't think he's terrible.
You need to stop it.
Actually, Jeff. I have logic. Can I talk about my logic? Just talk about my logic.
I dare you.
I think every time
I'm a fan of yours, Voch. You better
leave me alone, Jeff. Look, this is my thing, right? I think every draft, especially now, right? It comes down to, are you floor guy or are you ceiling guy? I'm floor guy. I love a high floor. A high ceiling don't mean
Okay.
nothing to me till it happens. You know what I mean? So with Kayvon and with Jermaine, and also
now, do you want to
David-
say this with passion? Do you want to say whatever this is with passion? Because you could.
Man, listen, let me tell y'all about this shit, bro. Let me tell you about this shit, bro. Bro. Fuck, bro. Sir. Nah. But yeah, I don't think they're bad players, and I want people to like hear me, like just hear me. I can say Kayvon is not in my top 3 defensive ends, but that don't mean he sucks. I just love Karlaftis. I just like Aiden Hutchinson explodes people. I love hand usage. Technique means something to me, right? And I just slightly got Ojabo over Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm not saying he's bad. They can all go top 10 if they want to. I don't think Jermaine Johnson, like music.
Oh, hold on. Yep, hold on. Let me get you. Here you go.
Jermaine Johnson, 2nd round pick. Fuck it. I won't move on that. He disappears. He's lazy. I'm not saying that about Kayvon, though. Kayvon's actually good. Jermaine can go. But that's how I feel.
Yeah. You want to know, and this hurts my heart to do this. You want to know the guy that the whole world absolutely loves, that I don't love? Chris Olave, and I'm getting killed for it. Because I like route runners too.
I don't think you should be getting killed for it.
And he's a route runner, and he's really good as a route runner, but he's also kind of a slight built guy that can kind of get jammed up and knocked off routes and ain't going to break tackles after the catch. So I'm like, yeah, NFL ready, might be an NFL number 2 and a really good player. And I love route runners, but I just put him where I put him, which is my 6th wide receiver. And everybody's like, oh my God, you're crazy. And I'm just like,
I don't hate it.
I don't even know why you guys are mad. I thought I liked him, but other people love him. And so it turns out that you hate him.
And also, I think he's pretty overrated as a route runner. I think in comparison to the type of player that he is and the type of players that normally play like that, he runs routes better than them. You know what I mean? So when we think about those fast top off the defense guys, yeah, he runs routes better than them. Plus, Chris Olave got some really good hands. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm not just comparing him to like those dudes, but we were
sideline awareness too. Like, there's a lot of things I really like about Olave. He's going to make really good plays.
He makes some tough ass catches because CJ Stroud cannot, or whatever. So he be catching.
Early in the year, CJ Stroud could not throw the ball. He had a shoulder or something, because I was watching, I forgot what game, but it was early in the year, and
Oregon.
I was tweeting out, I was like, I really thought the Ohio State quarterback was good.
Oregon.
And people were like, oh, he was hurt early. And I was like, oh, okay.
It was an Oregon game. He was hitting fucking Pam Oliver all on the sideline, bro. He was killing everybody.
I was watching him sail the ball everywhere.
But I like Chris Olave, but this goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? There's this difference between what you get from Henry Ruggs guys and what you get from Jalen Waddle guys, right? I just think that Jalen Waddle thing Chris Olave doesn't have. So Chris Olave is basically top off the defense forward guy. I don't think he's very sidewaysy guy, but he does have some really good hands. Go ahead.
Like, when you compare the 2 Ohio State receivers, like Olave does a really good job with subtly being able to like accelerate and run routes and found his way to get open deep a lot. And if he can do that in the NFL, then hell yeah, he's worth a 1st round pick.
For sure.
But when I compare him and Garrett Wilson, like, I'm gonna make some sounds here because I'm a receiver guy. It's not easy to cover a guy that everything is really silky smooth like Olave, but it's harder to cover a guy like Garrett Wilson where everything is
sudden.
And it's like the manipulations and the violent stop and go, and it's like, oh shit, what's he like? That is my 1st round receiver.
That dude,
Olave, I think, is good. Yeah. Wilson, I think, is one of the few guys in this class that could be an NFL number 1.
For sure.
Like, there's some Stephon Diggs in his game, I think.
Let me just look at your eyes when I say this so I can just make sure that, just so I can get your reaction. I was watching this one play from Garrett Wilson. It was like this 10-yard out. And it was it was the prettiest, smoothest, most sudden. Like, like if you watch, I'm just trying to, do this for the audience. Like if you was watching Treylon Burks and he runs it like an out, you have to break down, then turn. Garrett Wilson is smoothly, he'll give you a fake to the inside and one step. Fire. Hips, body, head, around. Now,
if you have to make sounds when describing a route runner, you are describing an explosive route runner that's going to get open. If
the word is sudden. You know what I mean? We probably should just be using that word. But I think Garrett Wilson is a mile better than Chris Olave. To where I just think Garrett Wilson won't be available for us and Olave might be. And I also think there will be better players on the board than Olave if Olave makes it to 24. So you're not by yourself, Jeff.
Okay, next receiver question, okay? Because this is one where, this is going to be the one that makes or breaks my career.
For sure. Sky Moore.
If you think a guy is going to play the slot, doesn't have to.
Okay.
But if you think he is going to play the slot in the NFL, is that a reason to move him down?
No, because if he ends up being the best slot in the league, you know what I'm saying?
Like, would you pick Cooper Kupp in the first round?
Yes.
I think you might.
For sure.
I think you might.
Well, because you have to look at it like this, right? Slot receivers don't come off the field as much as they used to. You know what I mean? Like, slot receivers are a part of NFL offense now. And hell, CeeDee Lamb as a slot receiver in his rookie campaign was one of our better receivers. I want to see CeeDee Lamb play the slot right now. I don't care. Like, we can.
I do too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, keep him in, even if he's the best receiver on the team, put him in the slot. I don't mind the best receiver on my team playing the slot. You know what I mean?
I'll go further. I want my best receiver in the slot.
For sure. Like, if that's just like saying, okay, look, Jalen Ramsey is your best corner. If he got to play the slot, that'll make him a less valuable player. Put him in the slot. If the best dude's in the slot and he's your best dude, put him in the slot. It's just that we just got to run 3-on-3 now. That's just what it is. We 3 receivers, 3 corners. So fine. And if you think that highly of that player, but he plays in the slot, Treylon Burks mostly plays in the slot. Like, you don't drop him for that. He's just a part of your offense.
Sky Moore is, everybody probably already knows this, but Sky Moore is my guy that I think if in the first round somebody like Green Bay or Kansas City picks him, he's gonna have 1,000-yard rookie season. That's just the player I watched on tape.
Yeah,
where he ain't the same height and he ain't the same skin tone, but I watched him and I got Cooper Kupp vibes where it's not necessarily he didn't run good shuttles, right? So it's not necessarily that it's stop and go, but it's the jerkiness of being able to get people off balance and change direction at speed and get separation, make plays that you would think he would have to be bigger to make, and then hell after the catch the same way Cooper Kupp is.
Sure.
So Sky Moore's the guy that I just watched him and I was like, whatever, he's a top 5 receiver for me. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's where I'm going.
Stick to your guns, brother Jeff. Stick to your guns. And if he does end up being the player that you're describing him as, you get all of the credit for that. You know what I mean? I was a huge CeeDee Lamb Jefferson guy. You know what I mean? And that ain't to say that Judy is bad or that we don't know what Ruggs would have been, but like Rager, I mean, yeah, whatever, cool. But like, I
liked Rager. I was wrong.
Fine. But if you're super firm on, hey man, Justin Jefferson, one of them dudes, then that's what they're gonna remember. But when you miss heavy, they're also gonna not let that go also. So just, stand on your guns, man. Sky Moore.
People still give me, you know what? People still give me shit. Somebody was, because I put my board out in public. I don't care.
Sure.
You can see it. It's information that I want you to have, what I think about these players. And somebody saw it today and was like, Penning's going in the first round, because I had Trevor Penning as a second round guy. And I was like, well, I'm not trying to predict where they're picked. That's easy.
Sure.
I'm just telling you what I think about him. And so people give me shit about our Darius Washington. And I'm like, I told you he was getting picked on day 3. I told you that most NFL teams wouldn't want any part of him because he was too small. I just think he can play. Son of a bitch made a 53-man as an undrafted free agent, didn't he?
That's it.
All we need is a chance with our Darius. Leave me alone. Joshua in the super chat.
Go ahead.
He wants North Dakota State Christian Watson in the second or third. I think you're barking up the right tree in the third. I think you're barking up the wrong tree in the second. Brandon, Malik Hooker secured. Curse or draft for strong safety. I think the Cowboys are going to keep Curse. Nicholas Morrow, thoughts from the Raiders. What do you mean? Give me their team needs. I'll tell you what tree we're barking up. I can find you some players.
Sure.
Brandon wants to move Collins to left guard, then draft BPA.
Collins gone.
They don't think. Yeah, I don't want to put this out in public because I still want them to get some value if they're going to trade him. They don't think Collins back to left guard would go well because they think with his hip that some of his bend is gone. And without that, it's tough with what they ask their guards to do. So just know that, but don't tell anybody because I'm trying to protect his value.
Is Kenyon Green a first-round player for you, Jeff?
Let me double check. Yes, but, and I hate doing this after the combine because my notes on Zion Johnson and Kenyon Green are, they're not the same player, but they're both really, really, really positive. And after the combine, I flipped them. Zion Johnson's my number 1 guard. Kenyon Green is number 2, but I would take either one at 24 with a smile.
I think Kenyon is a couple of spots higher than Johnson for me. But I kind of like the fact that he kind of had a weird little combine because I want people to overreact to that. I don't care how he look in shorts. That motherfucker look great in pants, Jeff. He look great in pants. Let that dude fall to us, bro. Like if I had a hump the chair moment, it's for 2 guys. It's for
Sky Moore.
It's just for Voch. You're gonna hump the chair if we get Sky Moore. But
Sky Moore.
For sure. If we get Kenyon Green or Jordan Davis, I will be humping the chair on draft day, man. That's just how I feel.
You're that high on a nose tackle.
So I think once you get to 24, I think position value kind of opens up a little bit. And I do think he's a luxury pick. I do think he's a role player. I do think he's a player that should be taken late, like where we're at. But that dude is a top 10 talent in this draft. And with my thought drafting him, if he's a top 10 talent, then sure. But I just think that dude, particularly with what we do, right? Like if you're Jordan Davis in Jacksonville, that ain't like Jordan Davis in Dallas because
Micah Parsons would love Jordan Davis.
Oh my goodness, Jeff! Nobody's gonna touch him. Nobody's gonna touch him. Plus, that makes your 3 techs better. That makes your ends better. It ain't gonna be Randy, but it's gonna be D-Law and somebody. You know what I mean? That just makes the whole product just better. The whole product better. So Jordan fits us. I will hump the chair for Kenyon Green and Jordan. So besides Sky, do you have a hump the chair guy besides Sky? Because you've been saying his name all month.
I like Ed Ingram more than the rest of the world does.
I love Ed Ingram, man.
Like Ed Ingram in the 2nd round, or even with the way other people are talking about him in the 3rd round, I'd hump the chair.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of linebackers I like but don't love, and that's actually what I want to talk about after I knock out some super chats. But go ahead, what are you saying?
Okay, so how much guards have you watched? Guards and tackles, offensive line.
Not a
ton.
I've watched tackles: Evan Neal, Iquanu, Cross, Penning, Raymond, Petit Frere, and guards: Zion Johnson, Kenyon Green, Ed Ingram, Darian Kennard, Sawyer at Georgia, left tackle for them, but I think he's a guard.
Yeah.
Parham at Memphis, and Ryan.
Okay, we're gonna revisit this like in April when you've gotten that list up a little bit. Normally, I don't like day 2 tackles because I think like if you're a good tackle, you just go day 1. In my mind,
I gotta watch the Tulsa guy. I know I gotta watch him.
Watch the Tulsa guy because he's gonna be a guard for you, and he's a little more physical than Penning, which is hilarious. Watch him. Watch Arizona State guy Kellen Dyche. Watch ULL, Max Mitchell. Watch him.
There is no ULL anymore. ULL was good enough that they're now the University of Louisiana. They don't have an extra letter. Only Monroe still has an extra letter, unless I have that backwards.
I thought that was weird. So watch Kellen Dyche, Max Mitchell. Petit Frere can play. Ohio State, the kid can play. So I'm wondering why we aren't talking about that second group of tackles, because this is a big tackle class if you add all those guys in or whatever. Because I mean, he has fantastic. I mean, he's Ohio State, so he plays against Boye Mafe, Karlaftis, and he got good reps against them dudes, man. And I just don't know why we're not talking about him more. Petit Frere from Ohio State, left tackle.
Hold on, I got to bang out these supers, and then I'm gonna quiz you about linebackers. Cool. Dallas, hey Jeff, you know Mark Holmes. I think you should have him on your show. Also, let's go get Wagner and Chandler Jones. I'm familiar with Mark Jones being a person that does Cowboys content. Voch, do I have a Mark Holmes opinion I need?
Do you have an opinion that you need?
Yeah.
No, he's a cool dude.
Do I like him? Do I hate him?
He's fine. Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Okay. Delta, Sky Moore's the most complete wide receiver in the draft from a skill and specialty standpoint. Quick, crisp, has great hands, high floor. And I like where your head's at. He is the one I'm most confident in won't be a bust out of all the receivers. Brandon loves CD. Is he ready to be a number 1? Whole different monster lining up against Slay, Bradbury, and opposing team's number 1 corner. Amari was that dude. No receiver goes against the other team's number 1 corner all that often because it's very rare that other corners travel. But yes, CD will get more attention. Well, he can't get more attention than they had the second half of the year. Second half of the year, they're dropping 7 guys in coverage.
Right.
Everybody had a lot of attention.
Couldn't run the
Kobe Shepard, them Ohio State boys, different. And he said he is an OSU fan. So that's fair.
Of course.
Okay, let me make sure there's nothing else here. You got anything you got to do?
Free Game Podcast Drop 5. It says Sam Williams from Ole Miss. We saw his Senior Bowl, came in late. Pretty solid, but I wasn't going crazy.
Jason Jeff, I'm subscribed, but how do I become a member? On the main page, next to the subscribe button, there should be a join button. If you do that, you get access to super cool emotes and stuff like that, and an invite to the Discord server. So I appreciate everybody who does join as a member, because if I don't get members and if people don't super chat and if people don't watch these videos, guess what I do?
Go broke.
I go on the streets.
On the streets.
Okay. So if you're into daily fantasy, get the Underdog Fantasy app.
Get your money.
Use the promo code Jeff C when you sign up. And then we can do a bunch of over-unders and parlays and bet $2 at a time and try to make $1 million. Okay, let's do that together. And I'm working on Manscaped, by the way, Voch.
Hey,
working on it.
Shouts out to Manscaped, the leaders of Below the Bell Mail Group. All right, we'll do that later.
No, sir. Do you still have a promo code? Hit it. Get it.
Voch20, VOCH 20. Get your monies up.
All right, now don't say that again, because if I don't get results when I do it, then they're going to be like, we don't need you.
You should definitely get. I'm gonna talk to old boy. Brandon,
should I tell people the truth about it when I get my promo code? That for years I've been using the same one here as I use there.
Yeah. You
should tell people that.
You shouldn't do that.
Sorry. Now, what I want to talk to you about.
One more thing, real fast. Brandon J dropped the deuce in the super chat. Says Miles Jack. I know y'all loved him in the draft. Miles Jack is my favorite college football tape of all time. So if we get him, I would explode in many ways.
This pick six where he was running like that way when he caught it, and it was like, that's not a linebacker. You can't tell me that's a linebacker. But I'm told he hadn't been as good the last year or two, so maybe his knees I don't know. I haven't seen him lately.
Get him cheap. Should have had him on the team anyway instead of Jalen. And shouts out to Fussy King in the chat box right now, holding it down, chilling, watching right now. I think he's working right now. It's business hours, but shouts out to Fussy for tuning in. Go ahead, quiz me on linebackers, you say.
Okay, how many have you seen? Because I somewhere between like and love this linebacker class, and I'm a Jabril Cox fan too, so it's not like I feel like I have to have one at the top.
For sure.
But somewhere in here, I've seen about 11 linebackers, and at least 9 of them I'm like, yes, please. And they're all very different. Like, Nakobe Dean and Devin Lloyd stand above the rest because they can play the run. They can make plays in the backfield. They can blitz, and they can cover. I'm sorry, you had something negative to say about Devin Lloyd, it sounded like?
It wasn't negative about Devin Lloyd. It was they're better than all the rest. They're above the rest. I got one more guy that I think is better than Devin Lloyd.
Is it Quay Walker?
Motherfucking Quay Walker's a gangster.
Okay.
Gangster.
he's my third one.
Gangster.
Okay.
What a missile that dude is. But go ahead.
Everybody's talking about Dean at Georgia and Lloyd at Utah. And I'm watching these other guys, and I'm like, man, Quay Walker has that same thing. Sure. Where it's like he can play forward, he can play backward, sure. He's fluid, he's full size. Quay Walker is a really good player. Yep. Georgia has a third linebacker who, to me, comes up short in the playing backwards part of it, Channing Tindall. But Channing Tindall is an MFing missile coming forward and can run and hit like a dump truck. Mm-hmm. And then he tested great. And I'm like, well, shit, maybe I can get him to become functional in coverage. And if you can, Channing Tindall's going to be a stud.
Yep.
Chad Muma's got good tape and had an incredible combine. Christian Harris at Alabama's a good player. Leo Chenal. Oh, you don't like Christian Harris?
No. So I like, so let me just run down this with you. Dean, stud. Lloyd is fun, but he plays like a safety sometimes. So that kind of dropped into my third guy. Quay, gangster. I like Tindall. I don't think he's a round 1-2 guy, maybe 3 or 4 guy.
I haven't been 3, but if you can teach that dude to cover with as athletic as he is, he's going to be a stud because that dude is a missile.
This is like a Sam linebacker type dude going forward, shit like that. Love it. I wonder, this is my one thing that I was curious about. Does he have problems mental processing, or does Quay and Dean just see it so much faster than him? Because you can see it on film.
He's faster than both of them, because I've seen Dean yell at both of them on tape. I've seen seen him run into both of them on tape because he's
sure.
too fast processing.
For sure, he processed the shit out.
He's just perfect.
So at first I was like, I like Tindall, man, but he kind of sees it a little slow. But then I stopped and just recounted a little bit. I was like, man, maybe Dean just seeing this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe Dean just doing
it like in my notes on Dean was like, oh, got mad at Walker. Oh, got mad at Tindall again. Like they're in his way when he's trying to go make a play.
Which is another reason why Dean's better than Jermaine. He should be top 10. Whatever. Muma
Leo
and
Chenal, Wisconsin.
He's fine. I'm just more so evaluating him based on the hype that he's getting. I think he's
so freaking different than everyone else.
He's a fine player. He plays interestingly, but I just think he's I
watched his tape and initially I was like either third round or day 3.
Yeah.
Then he had his combine, and I went, same thing as Channing Tindall. I went, shit, can he cover? And they just never asked him to because he's a great athlete.
Sure.
And 6'2", 260 is not how linebackers are built anymore. But that dude coming forward is a freight train. So now I'm intrigued. I'm like, I don't want to move him up just on athletic testing because I thought his shuttles would have sucked and he would just be big, strong, and fairly fast. Turns out he's fast and hyper athletic in every way you could possibly measure. And I'm like, maybe there's even more there than you got to see at Wisconsin, but I don't know.
I'm not going to lean on those numbers too much because they train for those numbers. They prep and all that kind of shit.
Well, and the shuttles were pro day, and I don't believe them for a second. I'll wait until I get numbers from teams, which I will, and I'll tell you what his numbers really were.
It's just that my thing about Leo in particular, Muma's a little further down for me, but Leo in particular, if you're looking at him, you would think like, okay, cool, like second round guy maybe. But then I start thinking about the names that'll possibly be there in the second round. I just think there will be better guys there. So he's probably like a early third round dude, maybe late second or whatever.
Have you seen Asamoah out of Oklahoma?
Asamoah? No, not yet. He's next.
Okay, yeah, he's unique too. He's different.
Watch him soon. Christian Harris, though. I like Christian Harris. I like him a lot. His very first game I watched of him was like Florida or something like that. And he was just making all the damn plays in the Florida game. He was covering people. He was beating block. He can be very sometimes he's really, really good. Sometimes he kind of gets lost in the sauce or whatever. But then he went out and did combine things and he, tested pretty fast. And not that he's getting credit for being combine guy, but I actually liked his film first, you know what I mean? And then I went back and watched. I'm like, okay, cool. He does move around pretty fast. Shouts out to him. Shouts out to Clark. Let me ask you this since we're on linebackers, Brother Joe. Let me just
Clark, he's the one that I don't like that everybody else likes.
Clark is fine, but he's not up there with Christian. He's down there with like Muma and them. He's in that tier. What do you think about Troy Anderson? Foster King loves him. I'm kind of in the middle. It's kind of strange, I think
Troy Anderson to me goes
Montana
in
State.
the same bucket as Brandon Smith at Penn State.
Okay.
Where Troy Anderson has everything you could ever dream of, except you watch him play and you're like, does he know what he's doing?
Sure.
To me, Brandon Smith at Penn State's the same way, where it's like, oh, you built this guy in a lab.
Yeah.
He's a creative player and he's perfect.
Yeah.
Does he have any clue what he's doing?
Nah.
And if I have it right with Anderson, I think it makes sense because I don't think he's played linebacker for long.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that is a guy that ideally it would be like top of the fourth round. You take a day 3 guy that you're going to develop.
Sure.
But I think his athleticism is going to drive him up to where, hell, maybe somebody takes him in the second or the early third, and that would scare me.
Yeah. My whole thing about Troy is that, first of all, he plays for Montana State, so his competition ain't all that great. But he does run fast. You can't deny that he runs fast. The weird thing about it is I'm watching some of his tape, and you can tell he's the most athletic dude on the team because they just take him and just put him places. Like he was playing like a gang of nickel corner for a long ass time, right? That's probably because he's the most athletic dude out there considering the competition that he's playing against. Does he do that in the league? I don't think so. Does he do safety things in the league? I don't think so. I think he's going to be a linebacker. And as a full-time linebacker, I just see some flaws. I see athleticism. I just see some flaws. Some people ask me, yo, Voch, do you see him playing quarterback in the league? Stop playing with me. Grow up. Don't ask me weird-ass questions like that. So, yeah, fourth-round guy maybe, but Foster King loves him. Foster King got him in the second. I don't think so.
Welcome to the draft.
NFL draft, man. NFL draft.
Everybody watches them, and everybody sees what they see, and that's the way it goes.
For sure.
And sometimes you can see what you see and be right, and it doesn't mean they're going to be good in the NFL.
Yeah, most of the time.
You just don't know.
Most of the time.
But that's like just those guys that we just went over. That's 3 to 4 rounds deep of a really good position group.
Sure.
I like this draft. I wouldn't want to have a top 5 pick.
Right.
I'd love to have 4 or 5 picks between 24 and 70.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes. There's a lot of role players. There's a lot of role players and complementary guys that you need on your team. Last year was all about the stars. Like I said, if you was in them top 13 picks, you wasn't going to miss with none of them dudes unless you took a quarterback or something like that. But this is the year for the complementary guy. Plus, and just to make this kind of Cowboy-centric or whatever, as far as linebacker goes, like, you still got Jabril Cox, so you're not pressed to draft any of these dudes early. Like I said, like if it's Dean or like Walker or something like that, then you just go and get them dudes. But if not, we can wait until later because you still got, Jabril. And then there's like free agency and stuff like that. So we got a lot of time to figure this stuff out. We got till the end of April to figure this shit out. There is no rush to figure out these players that y'all asking us about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they'll probably sign a guy. Like, be ready for that. At guard, the Cowboys going to sign a guy.
Yeah,
I think, unless they're going to be like, well, we could play with McGovern or Farniok. Their MO is they'll sign a guy. At wide receiver, they'll sign a guy.
You bet not.
And at linebacker, I'll bet they'll sign a guy. So they don't feel like, oh, we have to do this, but we still know what they're going to do.
Bet not line up with no damn Farniok. Hell wrong with y'all. I'm leaving. I'm already pissed off.
That's what I'm just saying. They need to sign an offensive lineman so they don't feel like they're forced. But at 24, if Kenyon Green or Zion Johnson is there, Cowboys, go ahead.
For sure.
Go ahead and pick your left guard.
For sure.
Along.
And I'm going to celebrate because I love offensive linemen. I know people hate offensive linemen. I'll be celebrating if we draft the left guard, so I'm fine with that.
I only love wide receivers. That's all I really care about. I'm trying to pick like 3 of them. Play 5 wide, and then no running backs. And
to be fair, Jeff, you have a point.
Nobody in the box, the quarterback just runs.
You do have a point though, Jeff, because I'm of the mindset that we should draft O-line every year, because it's really 8 guys that you're really rotating, like your top 5, your swing tackle, your swing guard, and maybe like your backup center, whatever. Just how we've been navigating with wide receivers lately, with the whole Coot thing is gone, and Gallup really is only a 2-year contract, and then there's CeeDee Lamb. Maybe you should draft wide receiver every 2 years or so, just as a draft strategy or whatever. Just draft guys every year. And just constantly move guys around. And, if it's a good guy that's like, if it's if Lamb got to hit the market, then you get that back in comp picks, I guess. You know what I mean? So
especially because like planning long term in the NFL doesn't really work.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Like having long term flexibility is fine. But today I was doing the draft show this morning on Cowboys.com, and it was like, well, they gave Gallup that money, and CeeDee's a first-round pick, so you probably don't want to use the first-round pick on a wide receiver. And I'm like, bullshit.
Right.
If it's the best player.
Right.
Because you don't know. Are the Cowboys going to give Lamb a second contract that him and his camp will agree to? Do they want to?
We better.
Will Michael Gallup be here after 2 years from now? Don't know. So the idea that, this guy's paid and that guy was picked here, that can't stop you from drafting any position unless they can't get on the field for you.
Sure.
Wide receivers getting on the field.
Ryan,
that's all I got today, Voch. What you got?
Ryan Longden dropped a dime and says, my 2 guys, that's me and Jeff. I just stepped in, so I'm sure you discussed it. Make this Randy situation make sense? No. Then proceed with your exceptional draft coverage. Big hug, bro. Big hug, bro. Appreciate you. And then Dro the Gooner dropped a deuce and says, Kingsley Enagbare from South Carolina. Or
he's okay.
Jermaine Johnson. Yeah, Kingsley is actually one of my favorite players in that tier of guys, because I think N gets bad at some point. I think he's one of the better guys before N gets bad, but I don't
put him 3rd, I think. End of the 2nd, 3rd.
Something like that. I don't hate Jermaine Johnson. So he's better than Kingsley and Enagbare. Yes.
I'm gonna have to go watch some more Damone Clark because everybody thinks he's better than I do. I'm gonna have to go watch some more.
Damone Clark may be like my 8th guy, my 8th linebacker or something, maybe 9th.
He's my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Same time.
I might need to go watch. Some Damone Clark. I gotta go, guys. I gotta go watch Damone Clark.
Hey man, listen. Do not be dicks to people, man. Be nice, because you never know what they're going through. You heard? Be a good human. Somebody will be good back to you, and this world will be a better place overnight. You hear me?
And remember about the Oski Woskies and the Peasky Weeskies.
shit.
You remember that sometimes they charge $65 for the Oski Woskies, even though it was just $50 the other day.
But that bitch had a $15 plane ticket. Scoutcast, bitch. Appreciate it. Have a good one, y'all.
Scoutcast out.